Hey, what's up, guys? This is Andrew Mil-Spec with Combat Art Training. I'm here today with Don Edwards of Greenline Tactical. We just did defensive pistol today. We're going to talk a little bit about the class. We're going to talk about some stuff for new shooters and then other classes that Don has coming up. So if you haven't seen it already, you need to watch the interview I have with Don. Don, if you don't mind, though, you want to just go over briefly your prior experience before going into training?
Sure. Well, I'm a retired Army SF guy. I started out as an Army Ranger and retired from the Special Forces. I've also been a contractor overseas and worked as a firearms and tactics and use of force instructor at a law enforcement academy at the Federal Law Enforcement Center in Georgia. So I have a bit of a training background. All my military is special operations type of stuff, Ranger Special Forces type thing. But I've been working in and around the law enforcement community and the training community as an instructor for quite a few years now, over 10 years, and doing this full time for the past 3.
Right on.
Straight training and industry consulting, working with a few companies on product development and things of that nature.
Cool. And then defensive pistol. You've got several different pistol classes. I want to kind of touch on all of them. Right. But defensive pistol, what is your main priority with this class?
So this class's main focus was, or the target audience for this class was newer shooters, people who may have recently purchased a handgun for self-defense, or maybe have one but have never really trained with it before formally, and or guys who maybe have trained but haven't trained in a while and just want to kind of knock the rust off and spend a day getting spun back up with the defensive style shooting. So it's not target shooting. We focus on the context of what if I end up in a self-defense shooting situation, what skills do I need to have, and stuff like that. So this group of guys actually had a lot more experience than anticipated, so we were able to push the train a little bit further down and get a little bit more esoteric into some of the stuff that I might do in one of the red dot pistol classes or something like that, which would be more intermediate advanced level shooting. So it was a fun day. It was a hard day. It was hot.
Yeah, I drank all my damn water.
I'm soaked in sweat and whatnot, but it was a great day out on the range with some really good dudes.
That was a good day. And what, like, there's some things that we did that I really like. Is like I've had that in my philosophy, and I love hearing it from other good people. Is the being able to be accurate when you need to be, being able to be fast when you need to be.
Yeah.
It's something that's not often talked about, and one of the things I really like too is the way, cause you're like one of the bigger red dot instructors out there, and the things that you're talking about with the way a red dot helps you fine tune your marksmanship.
Yeah.
It was really cool hearing that, relating it to even iron sights, and the fact that we're pushing it back to 25. Mm-hmm. What made you want to do? We have that drill with the 9 circles. What made you want to do that?
Well, so I call it dot matrix 2. So it's got 9 1-inch circles, and the whole point of that drill is just to. A lot of times we'll do it after we've been doing a lot of rapid fire shooting, just to make sure that we don't lose sight of those fundamentals of marksmanship, that you can put your sights right on that target and press that trigger without moving the gun and make those hits. So a very small target is, really challenging, right? So a 1-inch circle. So being able to hit that thing, hit 9 1-inch circles, and a little bit of pressure, try to be the first one done with 9 good solid hits. It's fun, it's challenging, and it really makes you just focus 100% on shooting fundamentals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like pistols, it's just hard,
It is. I mean, you don't have all the 4 points of contact like you have with a rifle. Rifle, you got the shoulder, you got 2 hands, and your cheek against the stock, so you can really hold it steady and consistently. With a handgun, you really have to focus on it because it's so easy to move it at that last second. Jerk the trigger. You can jerk the trigger on your rifle and really not have much of a consequence. With a pistol, it can totally miss.
And one of the things I really liked that you said, I wrote it down, but I'm not gonna fish through my notebook right now. I just want you to say again what you said about marksmanship. You put it in a very simple context, as far as like basically don't move the gun as you rig your shot.
Well, I mean, the number one and really only true marksmanship fundamental is don't move the gun when you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that if you screw that up, you're going to miss.
Yeah.
If you don't do that right, you're going to miss. Everything else, in my opinion, are things that we do to help us not move the gun when we pull the trigger. Right? All the breathing, all the stance, all the grip, all that stuff, just are things that we can do to help us. But ultimately, the one thing we can't do is move the gun when we pull the trigger, because the bullet's going to go wherever that sight was when it went off. The bullet doesn't lie.
Yeah. And I like too how because there were guys who were comfortable shooting at a decent level, you were able to push it with the 25 and the one-handed work.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah, we did a little bit more stuff today than we would have normally done in a basic course. But like I said, nobody here was a beginner shooter. Everybody was. We had some pretty advanced shooters, and even the least skilled shooters were definitely not beginners. So we were able to a couple of guys might have been drinking from a fire hose, if you will, towards the end there, but most of the guys were that's the kind of stuff that they could use just to sharpen that edge.
Mm-hmm. Now, what other pistol classes do you have right now?
Well, I do a 1-day and a 2-day version of this. So in a 2-day version, it's just a lot more of the stuff, and then we'll integrate some movement and multiple target in that environment. And then probably the one that the pistol class that is in most demand anyways is my red dot pistol, RDP class. I've kind of, it was one of those things where I started out thinking that it was no big deal because it was kind of intuitive to me, being a red dot shooter on rifles for so long, that what it brings to the table on a pistol was a no-brainer to me. And it didn't take me long to kind of figure out how to make it work. So I didn't understand that, I must have been in the minority there. So the more I talked to people that were struggling with it, I was like, well, let me show you this. And then I realized, I need a class. Because I was like, just bring it to a regular class. And then it just became a class that is focused specifically on people, on getting someone who either has never really used a red dot optic mounted on a pistol before, or have been trying to make it work and just are frustrated with it. And I've gotten a lot of those people that have come like, I'm going to take this class, and if I still don't get it, I'm taking it off. And usually they keep it on, and their little light bulb comes on. So,
what are the advantages that you see with red dots?
Red dots, rifles and pistols. It allows you to keep your attention focused on your threat, and still have a very good sight. Okay, so the red dot is just there. I don't have to line up a front sight and a rear sight and have a blurry target. So it allows me to, one, if I'm wide-eyed and can't really focus on a front sight for whatever reason, because of fear, adrenaline, ATP, sympathetic nervous system, whatever, then the dot's going to be there for me. I can just put it where it needs to go and press the trigger, right? If I have the wherewithal in say a professional environment, or I'm a highly skilled shooter who's aware of what's going on, I can observe my threat and change what I'm doing to accommodate that. So if, as we talked about earlier, if he's just not impressed with the rounds that I'm putting on him, then I need to do something different. And if I'm focused on my front sight post, I may not really realize that what I'm doing is not working, and I need to do something different. So being able to read the target as I shoot is something especially for the professional environment, for the SWAT team and people like that, even with rifles, that I preach to them, you need to see what's going on and adjust accordingly.
It's like definitely the way of the future now.
It is, and one of the things, and here's what I say, and I really didn't talk about it today because it wasn't really a red dot class, but you can't name me a major firearms manufacturer that doesn't make an optics ready version of their main duty pistols, or their main lineup of guns. Everybody is doing it. So the industry has heard the consumer. They're making handguns that are ready to go. You can still get them milled custom, but the industry is manufacturing them ready to go, and they're also making red dot optics that are purpose built to go on a pistol. Whereas before, these were miniature optics made primarily to be piggybacked on some sort of magnified optic or something like that on a rifle. And even though it may seem like, well, a pistol doesn't recoil as much as a rifle, well, that slide reciprocating back and forth is not what those little things were made for originally. But now we've got Aimpoint, Trigicon, Holosun, and some other companies, I think, are building these things from the ground up with the idea that it's going on a pistol, so it can handle that. We don't have to worry so much about it not being able to take the punishment. And so right there, the industry is continuously trying to give us the product that we need to do this, and that's great. That's innovation.
And now it's like pretty much the only thing we're looking for with those is probably battery life, right?
Yeah, battery life. The ability, like on the aim point, and I think one of the Hollow Suns, to be able to change the battery without having to take it off to risk losing zero and stuff like that. That is, I think, the next evolution. That and fully enclosed emitters like what the Aimpoint Acro and the new Hollow Sun 508, I think it is.
Yeah.
But having something enclosed, I think we'll see more and more of that as we get into the end of this year, maybe early next year, when people start to release new stuff. I think that's what we're going to start to see, is more purpose-built stuff.
Okay.
That's
cool.
I see it.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about red dots today. The other thing
out of this class, over 80% of the guys actually had pistols with red dots on them. So it's another one of those things where it's a thing, right? This wasn't even a red dot pistol class, and most of the people had pistols with red dots. So other instructors need to really get on board with this, because you're going to have guys and gals showing up to your regular pistol classes with these things on them. So if you don't know how to coach them, you're doing them a disservice, because that's why they're coming to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let's see. I want to make sure we've hit this too. The way the red dot can expose flaws in your fundamentals.
Oh yeah. So with iron sights, if you jerk the trigger at the last second, you may not notice that. The way most people realize that they were probably jerking the trigger is they'll see their rounds going like down and left or something like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, how did I do that? I must be jerking the trigger." And then, but you automatically want to tell yourself, "No, it's not me. It must be the gun." Right?
Yeah.
But with the red dot, you can see that thing get at the last second. And if you're paying, like I said, if you're paying half attention, you'll see it happen. And then, once you start to realize, oh, I'm jerking the trigger, now it's your responsibility to fix yourself. Right now, if you know how to how to fix yourself, that's one thing. Otherwise, seek out somebody that can help you. But at least now you're aware of what's going on, and can figure out what needs to happen.
Yeah. Okay. The next thing is that I want to hit on, because there's so many new shooters out there, right?
Okay.
What is the first thing that they should buy and what training they need to get?
Dude, if you're like new to the gun world and you're wanting to get into it because of for self-defense, right? Because times are crazy right now, and a lot of people are doing that. A handgun, I think, is the way to go. Now, we've already talked about a handgun's harder to master than a rifle, but a handgun is more practical. So a pistol handgun is something that you can get your concealed weapons permit, and now you can carry with you legally and conveniently. You could carry a rifle around with you too, but it's not really convenient, so you're probably not going to do it. So I would start with a good quality, modern, striker-fired type of pistol. There's Glocks, there's M&P, the CZ, there's a lot. Beretta's got a striker-fired.
Simplest thing, just get a Glock 19.
Yeah, but as our friend James would say, Glock 19, right? And to be honest with you, and I say that a lot too, but it's like I drive a Toyota 4Runner because it doesn't break down.
Yeah.
Right? I change the oil and I put gas in it. I shoot Glock pistols because they just go. You put gas in them, you put ammo in them, and they work. I don't really worry about them. There are a lot of really nice things out there, but a lot of them tend to take a lot more care and feeding. So no frills, they're not pretty, but they just work.
And you can find a magazine for it everywhere.
Yeah,
there's one right
parts.
there. I got two on me. You got like four on you.
But then again, the Smith & Wesson M&P, I've got a couple of those. I love those pistols.
Yeah.
I've had no issues with them over the years either. So there are some other good ones out there, but I would say that and a couple spare magazines, a good set of iPro and EarPro so you can practice, and then find a good quality firearms trainer. Take some of the basic stuff, but then look at people who do self-defense oriented training. And then once you feel comfortable and you've mastered the pistol, and if you want to continue going down the road and become a shooter or somebody who's into it, or you just want to up your game when it comes to home defense, I say a rifle is a good idea. And I like a rifle for home defense probably over a shotgun, even though it's one I'm teaching a shotgun class. But the AR-15 rifle is just easy to learn how to shoot. It works. It's so common that it's like the Glock. There's accessories for it. There's so many different versions and brands of it out there. Make sure you're not buying the cheapest one, because you do get what you pay for, right? But you don't have to go out there and spend $3,000 on one for your first one.
Like, not saying this is the best option, but
it's an option, and sometimes it's a place to start. Okay, less expensive. If you're going to get into it and you're going to shoot a lot, you're going to want something. You get what you pay for. You got to pay for the quality. If you're going to shoot it a lot, i.e., you're going to train with it so that you can get good with it, then you're going to need the quality, or you're going to have breakages and issues with some of the really cheap stuff out there. But I'd say, an AR-15 with a good quality sling, a few spare magazines, and some sort of good quality flashlight on it, like a Surefire, something like
100%.
that. And some sort of good quality red dot optic. If like Aimpoint is my go-to. Wearing their shirt, but and they're friends of mine. But it's one of those things where if your actual intended purpose is to stake your life and the life of your family on this thing, you want to buy quality. You don't want to buy something cheap.
Yeah,
it's like you if you are going to depend your life on your vehicle, you don't want to put bald tires on it.
Yeah,
you want to make sure that you've got good brakes, good tires, quality stuff. So that when your wife drives off in the minivan with the kids, you know that they're going to be safe on the road, right? Same thing. If you're buying a firearm with the intent of using this in home defense, that's a very important use. So to me, it's worth spending some money on some quality and doing some research and stuff like that. So a good red dot, you need a sling. Every rifle needs a sling. It's like having a pistol without a holster. And a light is a great idea, because you have to identify. If it's nighttime, which it's nighttime half of the time, you need to be able to identify a threat, whether something's a threat or one of your kids, coming in late from a party trying to sneak in because they don't want to get caught by you, right?
In addition to that, too, I just want to add this, you need a handheld flashlight for your EDC.
Oh, handheld flashlight for everyday carry with your pistol. That's another one, handheld flashlight, what we say, basic dude stuff. You need to have a flashlight, a pocket knife, your cigarette lighter, and a pistol.
Yeah.
Those
Tourniquet?
Tourniquets, yeah. Well, then let's go down that road a little bit.
Yeah.
When we're talking about first-time shooters, I would say get medical gear, get the pistol and all that stuff, and then get some first aid stuff that you can carry with you or keep near you all the time, and get a training class in that. I would put that above a rifle. I would put that before a rifle for the average person who's getting involved in this, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Because
you're more likely to need to save somebody's life with your first aid kit than you are to take somebody's life.
Definitely. And people would be surprised too. We got Jeremy of Fight is over there. He's gonna come talk to us in a minute. They were doing a medical class today. You guys know about that? That was going on right here at Aries. There's lots of great medical training. I'm gonna be taking medical class with my girlfriend here soon, up in Camden, and that's hugely important. Especially you got kids. Accidents happen. Like car accidents
it's not just shooting trauma. Having that stuff and knowing how to use it, you're more likely to have to help somebody on the side of the road than you are to have to get in a gunfight. Statistically, and those are things that you can have, and they're skills that can't be taken away from you, that you can actually save somebody's life with. Definitely, I would put that above getting a rifle. If you're just getting into it and you can only spend so much money and you'll have so much, everybody's resources are limited, right? Even people who seem to have unlimited resources, eventually they only have so much time and so much money. So the pistol light and training with the gun, and then a good first aid kit of some sort that you need to keep with you. If you're dedicated, you're going to carry it with you. You can get some of the ankle kits that really aren't that big a deal to carry around. I've got one. I need to start carrying a little bit more than I do, or wearing it. But after a few days, you almost don't notice that you still have it on. You probably won before.
I haven't got one yet. I'm going to, but I started carrying 2 guns. Everyone gave me shit for it, but fuck, it's not that big of a deal.
You get used to it. It is a lifestyle. It is a commitment. But it's a commitment to being prepared and not having to worry about somebody else taking care of you and protecting you.
Hey, welcome back, guys. I wanted to make sure the video didn't cut out. Now we got a guy shooting over there.
Which is cool. We're at a show.
Yeah.
Of course, that guy's not on the range.
Not on the range.
But,
we can't shoot right now, but apparently that dude can.
Yeah.
But we just want to continue talking about what the new shooter needs to do. So we mentioned get a pistol, get the EDC, get the train,
good light, first aid gear, and learn how to use all of that stuff.
And medical train, and then after that's when we get the rifle. Now my question is there anything in between those things ending at rifle and night vision? Because well, here's the thing: is people think, oh, you're crazy. Why would you want night vision, dude? If you needed an armor, or excuse me, if you needed a rifle, you probably need armor, and if you need all that, you'd want to have the advantage of night vision, right? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, and you brought up body armor. Body armor is not a bad thing to have. You kind of have to assess your own situation on some of that stuff, and if you have access to it or you can find a good price on something, a decent set of plates isn't a bad idea. It's like if you need a rifle. If you're in a situation where you need a rifle, then maybe some sort of body armor plates is also a good idea. And then night vision. We kind of joke around a lot about night. You gotta have night vision. It's dark 50% of the time. If you don't have night vision, you can't see. You're missing half of the action. And stuff like that. But really, it is a superpower. Yeah. Being able to see in the dark. So and there's a definite confidence that comes with that, a definite advantage that comes with that, and I train regular people in my night fighter class. I have a law enforcement SWAT program that I train SWAT teams around the country and stuff like that too, and just the advantage that it gives you to be able to see what other people can't see in the dark is it can't be overstated. Mm-hmm. You can choose not to go somewhere because you see something going on there that you wouldn't have seen without it. It could be as simple as that, having a monocular in your bug out bag or your go bag, your get home bag, that now I can look down that way and be like, maybe I don't want to go that direction and go around it, right? That right there for the everyday person who's just trying to get home in the middle of a crisis. It doesn't have to necessarily be a mob riot kind of thing. It could be a natural disaster and you find yourself on foot or somehow trying to get back to your family. And it's dark, being able to avoid dangerous situations by seeing them well before you are, entered into them is right there a game changer. And I know a lot of people who are prepper type guys or just prepared individuals that's the main reason they got them. They go out and shoot and they take night fighter classes, but it's their EDC get home piece of kit. It's like having a flashlight that nobody else can see, and you can get an IR flashlight too to extend the range and depth of that stuff. So all the way from that to if you have a tactical application to outfitting your rifle with a laser and having MGs and stuff like that, that's still it's a game changer. Being able to basically control a situation, be the only one that can really see what's going on in a situation. Like I said, it can't be overstated.
Yeah, just like it's kind of a tactical advantage, right?
Absolutely.
Just like if you can shoot a pistol further distance than that guy can, you don't have to go so close. Right. If you can see at night, you don't have to change your
like what I said, distance favors the trained marksman, and darkness favors the person who can see in the night. When the lights go out, the man who can see in the night is king. Yeah. Can see in the dark. So, but you're looking at a pretty substantial, cost to get in now. So some people, the cost isn't the deal; it's just the not knowing, what to buy and where to get it and where to get a good deal or to get the right stuff without being taken advantage of is really sometimes part of the problem.
Now, the next thing too I want to hit on is obviously because everyone looks at it, they're like, Don is the night vision guy, your night fighter class.
Yeah.
You can rent night vision. Sorry, we got a van pulling up for that class, and then you can learn how to use it. And what else you want to say from there?
So I have, my cohort Sam and I have a pretty good supply of rental gear that we rent to people, and it's good quality stuff. Some of it's been road hard and put away wet, but it's all dual tube night vision goggles of one form or another. We have a few different models out there, and we have some really high-end lasers and stuff like that, and bump helmets and mounts. So if you sign up for a night fighter class, we don't charge that much. We charge $150, and you're actually renting in the neighborhood of $10,000 worth of equipment from us. All you need to bring is your rifle with a white light on it, and it's got to have Picatinny rail attachment so that we can put our laser on that, and the same stuff you would bring to a carbine course, basically. A red dot optic on there, a white light. We'll even, part of the rental is the helmet, so all the goggles side of everything. So pretty much, if you don't have your own gear and you're renting ours, your packing list would be about the same kind of stuff you would bring to either a combat carbine course or a low light carbine course, because you need to have, you know, your handgun with a light, and ideally a light on the handgun, but it's not necessary if you don't have that. And a handheld light as well. So because we do white light, we do a lot of white light in the night vision class, because it's not really about just night vision. It's called night fighter. It's about nighttime operations. So white light is definitely a tool that you're going to use, and we really stress integrating and being able to use both whenever you need to. So just kind of like we talked earlier, sometimes you need to shoot accurately, sometimes you need to shoot fast, sometimes you need white light, sometimes you don't want white light.
Yeah.
And knowing when it's okay to turn one on, turn it off, and use that tactically in the context of shooting is what it's all about. So it's a shooting course, but it's not really a shooting course. It's a night vision course where we shoot. Mm-hmm. Right. So guys also need to show up being experienced shooters, because I'm not going to train you and teach you how to be a good tactical shooter in the dark.
Yeah.
You need to show up already knowing how to do that stuff, because now we're going to talk about and leverage the night fighting equipment into what you already know how to do during the daytime.
So basically, look at that progression of what you need to learn: pistol, medical, rifle,
and then before you ever start even to look at going to a night fighter course, even if you're going to go, and it really is probably the best $150 you could spend by go ahead and renting my gear, finding out what it's all about before you drop a whole bunch of coin on some stuff that you wish you hadn't bought, and then you bring it to my class and be like, oh man, I wish I'd have bought this instead of this. You know, now you got to sell it, buy some new stuff or whatever, or just deal with it. You know, so really, it's a cheap way to get into it without wasting a lot of money.
And that's like the same thing we've all seen with new shooters buying the wrong pistol. And shooting low left. Oh, they all do that. And and then eventually they
learn how to shoot it. It's not the gun.
Yeah.
The gun knows who's shooting it.
Losing money on so many guns and so much wasted range time. They get the training.
Yeah.
And they start to square themselves away.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my horn as a trainer, but training is very important, and that's one of the reasons I do it. And you do it. We enjoy it. We love it, and I like seeing people understand. I love it when that aha moment comes up and it's like, oh wow, that's cool, I can actually do this. Yeah, that's awesome, high five. You know, I love it. But it's just so important, because having a toolbox full of tools doesn't make you a carpenter.
Nope.
Or a mechanic. You know, owning a violin does not make you, you know, a musician. You have to learn how to use it.
It's like all the guys that just went out and bought their first gun and think they don't need training, they just bought a false sense of security.
Yeah, you know, people do get lucky, and people without training every day really use a firearm successfully in self-defense.
Absolutely.
But that's luck, and luck, like you said, luck counts. But I don't want to depend on luck.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, if you're a ready, preparedness-minded individual who's decided I'm going to, you know, take that step to be able to defend and protect my family and whatnot, you really need to take that next step and learn what you need to know, right? And even if you just do it once or twice and you're like, okay, now I understand, you know, I promise you, if you haven't taken any good quality formal training, your eyes will be open to what you thought you knew isn't going to necessarily be applicable or whatever. I don't know what word I'm looking for.
Especially because like lots of stuff when it comes to guns and defense, it's based around myths, and like I want to do a whole series of videos just talking about each one individually. But The thing is that, like, if you're talking to a guy at the gun shop, you don't know what they're saying, you don't know why they're saying it, and you don't know where it's coming from. Like, what was their experience? Like, I knew plenty of Marines that would say ridiculous stuff that should never be repeated.
And not all guys, there's a stereotype about, gun shop guys. But the thing is, too, a lot of times you're a new gun purchaser. You probably have no idea what this guy's even talking about.
Yeah.
So it's not that he's telling you some crap. It's like in a 15-minute conversation, you can walk out of there having no idea what that dude just said. And he could have been trying to give you some very good advice, right? Or not. The problem is you won't know the difference if you don't know what you don't know. And, even if he was trying to give you some good advice, if you really have no idea what he was talking about, then you don't understand. You don't know what you don't know. So getting out there and spending a good solid day or 2 days doing the repetition, hearing it, asking questions, having it re-explained to you, in various ways until you're like, okay, I get it. Because you know how it is. I'll repeat the same thing over and over and over again, and people still have questions to make sure that I answer it in a way that everybody understands.
Yeah.
Because there's
sometimes
always
you have to hear it 3 times before it clicks.
Yeah. And I don't mind that because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to educate and coach, and that's that's my job and my passion, and that's why most of us do this. We really want to impart that to people and help equip and prepare people, and the tools are just part of the skills. You have to have the tools to do a job, but if you don't have the skills in using them, then you're just rolling the dice.
Absolutely. The other thing with that too is why it's so important to get new people into it, why it's so important to train, is because it normalizes it and it creates another citizen of the United States who's out there able to protect themselves, and instead bystanders able to protect their family, and they're out there supporting the Constitution, and they believe in the freedoms we have to be able to do this stuff. Like, isn't it true that in like Germany you can't even shoot at a humanoid target, right?
I don't know, but
that's something I heard. But it's just like people think buying night vision is crazy, but no, it's
night
logical.
Vision's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool. Too. I mean, you can see in the dark. Like Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark, they didn't have any superpowers. They were just rich dudes who had awesome toys. They didn't have any special X-ray vision or could fly or nothing. They just had a lot of money. They had cool stuff.
Right on. Now, okay, so last thing. What are some of the other classes that you got going on? I know you're doing combat shotgun tomorrow.
Tomorrow here at Aries. I'll be doing a combat shotgun. In 2 weeks, I'll be up in Camden, Tennessee at Tactical Response. I'll actually be presenting as one of the instructors. I'll be teaching a short little mini blocks in red dot pistol, and then I'll be staying the Monday and Tuesday following that to teach the full red dot pistol course there in Camden. And then at the end of the last weekend of July in Zephyr Hills, Florida, there's another red dot pistol course going on, and then that brings me into August, early August. The August 1st, 1st and 2nd, the first weekend is a shoot house class up in Savannah. Indoor shoot house. It's great. It's not for beginning shooters. It's for people who have a very solid background shooting, primarily ARs, rifle shooting. So the gun handling and shooting skills are implied. There's no range time or anything like that. We're going straight into it. So for that one, your weapon better be zeroed. You better be on your A game, because I'm going to expect high degrees of marksmanship as we do this other stuff. And then later in the month, I've got a DMR class up in Ohio.
Right on. Now the Georgia one.
Yeah.
That's in a shoot house, so it's room clearing.
Yes.
And it's with UTMs. Correct?
Yes. So UTM is Ultimate Training Munitions. It's a non-lethal training munition.
Wow. Low on battery.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. We'll wrap it up.
Right. When it dies, we'll die. Yeah. So it's a non-lethal training munition that is primarily developed for force on force that we can use against each other. but we don't do that in this class. This class is treated just like a live fire shoot house. Only we use this to mitigate some of the risk and danger, and it's also in an indoor facility that is not rated for live fire. So we have to use that. But what this does for us is it allows us to get a lot more repetitions in, because we don't have the safety concerns of having live ammunition involved in it. So we treat it just like it was live. If I see safety violations, they'll be treated just like you had a loaded real live gun. It's very strict. It's just like a live fire shoot house. It's only we're able to do more because of the non-lethal training munitions in there. So it's pretty intense. It's 2 days.
And headshots only.
Oh yeah, I mean marksmanship counts. Your marksmanship is evaluated after every run, and so yeah.
Badass. And as for the SPR DMR class, I've got a review on it. I've got a thing talking about my rifle. He's also done. Don's also done a video with Big Daddy Unlimited talking about SPRs and DMRs. Yeah. Watch that. You gotta learn a ton of stuff. But watch my review on the DMR SPR class. I love that class. That's how I found out about it, Don.
Okay.
So, that's how I found out about Aries.
Yeah. Yeah. Great place to train. We love it here. Let's see what else is coming up. September, back in Ohio for a combat carbine level 2.
Right on.
Early on, I can't remember what else is going on in September. A couple things. And then October's real busy. I got combat carbine 2 in California. I got a low light shoot house up in Muncie, Indiana. John Dufresne from Kinetic Consulting and I are doing that together up at a place called MTAC, the Midwest Threat Assessment Center in Muncie, Indiana. So it's another, it's basically the same shoot house class that I'm doing in Savannah, only we're doing it all low light.
Okay.
So actually a company called Cloud Defensive makes really awesome lights. They're sponsoring it.
That's cool.
So they'll be there. They'll have a lot of their lights for people to try out and use in the class as well. So October's kind of busy right now. Got a few private things going on, and as we roll into November, that's night fighter season. So I got 2 night fighters in November. One's up in Camden, and one is up in Connecticut actually. And then the holidays start to slow down a bit, and then the schedule's still open for January on.
Right on. I'm gonna try making night fire as soon as I can too.
Yeah.
I fucking want to do it.
Like I said, Camden is the first one of the season. They're called night fighter season. Basically, early November to March, during the time change zone where it gets dark early, is what we basically refer to as night fighter season. And so we're kicking off the season up at Tactical Response in Camden, the first one of the year. So
right on.
Looking forward to that.
All right. Anything else you want to mention?
No, man.
All right.
Appreciate you, man, and good shooting today.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm trying to be more accurate. I want to push that.
With the iron sights, you outshot some of the dudes with red dots. So.
Well, I still got a long way.
You had to work hard to do it, but did it nonetheless.
Maybe I just put more shots on so that you only saw the good ones.
Maybe.
Well, all right, guys. There's gonna be links in the description for Don Edwards' website. If you're
Greenlinetactical.com, Instagram, Facebook, website, greenlinetactical.com.
And check it out, watch the interviews. You're seeing them pop up right now as for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember that training saves lives.